Well, it's a nice sunny day here in Idaho, and taking a break from watching the football team playing like crap. So, got the slides extended, and we're gonna come out and run the furnace for about 2 or 3 minutes. It hasn't been run for about a month now, and if you notice, the indicator is red. Both tanks are turned off. I'll show you up here. They're both in the off position. And I run mine manually. I have the selector valve set to the tank that I want to run. And when I open it, when I use a propane tank, for an example, this is the one I've been running on. So this is the one that I'm going to open. And I'm going to leave this tank closed. Yes, I know it's an automatic changeover system, but if this tank runs empty and I don't know it, it's going to switch automatically from primary tank to secondary tank if this valve is open, and I'm going to start feeding off this tank, not realizing I've emptied this tank. So something you might want to think about. When a tank runs empty, then look at this and I know, okay, all I got to do is take and move my selector over, and now this is my primary tank. This indicator is going to turn green if I had the valve opened up, and now I can take this tank off, which is empty, and go down and get it filled. The only disadvantage of running it this way is if in the middle of the night I run out of propane, then with the other tank closed off, then I've got to come out and manually open the tank and then get things going again. But at least I know I have a full tank, so something you might want to consider. I'm going to show you what not to do when you open a tank. And I'm going to open this one quickly. And since I don't have the fancy unit that the newer Alpines have with the in-command, mine has the old system, and we're going to turn on, hopefully. There we go. Zone 1 is off, and we're going to change the mode, and we're going to go to furnace, and it shows 61 is indicated on the furnace, and it's actually 45 degrees inside. And what you're going to hear now, and we'll turn this off. So we're outside at the exhaust on the furnace. This particular furnace is a Suburban, and I've had the propane off, and it's trying to ignite. Of course, it's not going to ignite. And I'll stay quiet for a minute, and you'll hear this try to ignite 3 times, and you might hear a faint popping sound. You heard the click. Barely hear the popping sound. But we're not getting any furnace ignition. And so after the 3rd time, if it can't ignite because I have the propane turned off, then the furnace is going to go into lockout mode. Okay, it's made 3 attempts to light. And so now what the furnace is going to do is it's going to self-purge for 45 seconds or so. And all that means is the blower motor is going to continue to run. The igniter is no longer going to try to fire, and of course neither is the propane valve on the furnace going to try to open. After that 45 seconds of blower motor action, then the furnace will lock itself out and shut down. Okay, we waited until the furnace timed itself out because it couldn't ignite because I had the propane on the tank turned off. And so now what we've done is come in and we've selected and turned the furnace completely off, and we've waited about 30 seconds, and then now we're going to turn the furnace back on, and we'll go outside. You can see I have propane turned off, and I have the right tank selected, and so we're going to turn this on, and we've had a successful ignition almost instantly. And we can feel nice hot air coming out, and that's what we want. And you can see just a little bit of moisture on the outside edge of the exhaust. And I like to come out, and of course where my hand is right now is the intake side. like to run this thing at least once a month in the winter months when we're here at home at the house. And it's my belief that doing so purges some of that moisture that inherently is going to build up in the combustion chamber of the furnace. And it gets that moisture out of there. It exercises the turbine wheel. It exercises that LP propane valve as well as the igniter. And if there were any leaves or cobwebs and dust and stuff, it's going to blow that crap out of the exhaust. Now, I have 2 ports, and a Suburban unit will always have 2 ports. The top one is the intake, bottom is exhaust. Those with the Dominick Atwood furnace, they'll have 1 port, and it's a dual port. It's got a cover over it, so to speak. Part of it is the intake and part of it is exhaust, so, but the principle is the same. But you can see now that that moisture that was on the edge out here has now evaporated, and this is nice and hot, and I can feel that hot air coming out, and we can feel it with my fingers drawing the cool outside air in. I'm inside the basement on my Alpine now, and a lot of people, they want to argue with me about the furnaces and the fact that you can't block off those return vents on the stairwells. And what I'm going to do is I'm looking back over the top of the wall here. This is my water center right here, and we're in the basement. The rear wall is still on. I can feel nice warm air coming out of this exhaust, which or out of this vent, which heats up the basement. And also down inside there are 2 vent lines. One is almost directly over the water pump, and that keeps it from freezing. And there's another larger one down in here that you can barely see, and what it does is heats the underbelly. But all of this space that you see, including this nice big hole here in the gap here, and this is places where this furnace could draw additional air if it needed to, as far as the return, so to speak, on the furnace. But there are no open vents on the inside of that furnace to draw any return air. It's not like a house furnace. So if you want to argue with me, well, go ahead and argue, but I'm showing you the facts here on this video. All of your return air that's going to go into the combustion chamber comes in through this intake port on the outside. It doesn't come from anywhere else, and anyone that wants to believe otherwise, well, all I can tell you is you really need to crawl in your Alpine and go in there and look at it and figure out how it works. And we're going to come back inside for a minute, and the furnace is still running, so we're just going to come over and check the output. That's nice and hot air coming out of there, and we'll go over here and do the same thing. We got nice hot air coming out there, and we'll go upstairs into the bedroom and bathroom areas. And the bedroom, I have 2 vents on either side of the bed. There's nice hot air there, and we've got nice hot air coming up in the bathroom. So furnace is working as I expect it to. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and turn the light on, and we're going to turn the furnace off. And what that's going to do is it will set up a sequence of events where the propane valve will close on the furnace, and the blower motor will continue to run for about 45 seconds or so, and it will continue to blow air, and the air will stay warm for a little bit, which it is right now, and without the furnace actually burning and producing heat. Here in a few minutes, that air is going to start to get a little cool, and after about 45 seconds to a minute, the blower motor will completely shut itself off. So there you have it from Idaho, and that's all we're going to do with this video. I just wanted to shed a little light on furnace operation and furnace care, and what I suggest folks do on their furnace once a month to keep it in good working order.